daddy is at work right now. I just made a new YouTube video. Um, Includes mental health therapy, personal situation, and Abel's watching Hotel Transylvania. I'm surprised he's actually enjoying the movie because he doesn't like anything but Spanish. Oh, it's in Spanish, but he doesn't like anything but a certain video on YouTube. And I said that, now he's crying. Talk to you later. This video is basically to let you know how important I feel therapy is and how it does work. Um, and even though people are in therapy, suicide still happens. In this video, you're gonna see me put something in my hair. It's actually a hair serum, and it's from Trader Joe's. It's shea butter and coconut oil, helps tame frizz and add shine. I love it. In this video, you will see my double chin a lot because I am overweight. You will also see my eyebrows all bushy because I haven't had time to do my eyebrows. And I don't care about my eyebrows right now. So, thank you for watching. Hello guys, and welcome back to our channel. Today I'm going to be on the spotlight talking about mental health. So the reason I'm talking about it is because I am a suicide survivor. It's still uncomfortable to like say it out loud, but it's true. I mean, if you look at it, a lot of us are. Some people don't get to that point, but if they're drinking every day, if they're doing drugs every day, you know, if they're not eating healthy, if they're eating their life away, eating their sadness away, that is another form of killing yourself slowly. But I actually attempted suicide. So before I get into that, it's going to be a while before you guys actually hear the story of how it happened. I want to get a little bit into how I got to that point. I've been in therapy since I was 10 years old. My mom always felt it was important to keep me in therapy because there are certain things that I've always said and certain actions I've always done. I was extremely rebellious. I don't know if I'm not anymore, but now with my son, it's different because I have someone looking at me 24/7, so I am more calm. But I disliked therapy so much. I had to go all the time after school. When I got to high school, I had to go once a week. It was extremely embarrassing at the time because like I didn't want to tell people I was in therapy because even now it's still not, it's more common obviously, but I feel like when I was younger it wasn't. Like people be like, oh haha, you're crazy, like, you know what I mean? And then of course in return I'd be like, yeah, effing crazy, like, you know, because I try to defend myself by then trying to fight somebody. So, anyways, staying on track. Yeah, I was in therapy for many years, and I wouldn't say that it didn't help just because I attempted suicide. Because had I not been in therapy for the amount of time that I was in, it could have happened sooner, and it could have actually, I could have not survived basically. So if you do have a loved one, even if they're 10 years old or 5 years old or 3 years old, that you see feels a certain way, or, you know, like I was the type of child that would go under my bed and like take my dad's photograph and just cry for hours and hours and hours, you know, and like my mom would let me be, but I think things like that always stuck with her, and then in return, she would then realize like she had to do something about it. So don't brush things off. Don't try to make a child be tough or be like, you tougher than that. Always try to get their mind off of it at the moment, but in the end, you have to find some sort of resource for them, whether it be karate or art or a certain subject in school they're good at, and you do activities with them at home. Some parents don't have time, and that was my mother's case. She didn't really have time to sit there and do everything with me, or maybe she just didn't know how. So that's when she went to a professional. This the same way you go to a professional for your hair, for your nails, it's important to go for your mental health. And children can't do it themselves, and they don't understand why they need it. They hate the way they feel. I hated the way I felt. I still hate the way I feel, but therapy was important. As an adult, I started when I was a teenager, I started to actually battle my therapist. Like, yeah, okay, this person's not going to help me. But every therapist I've had, whether it be one thing or five things I got out of it, I would always get something out of it, like my favorite therapist thus far has been my therapist when I was hospitalized for my suicide attempt, because she told me something that made so much sense. She told me that I could never hold anything in, which in return made me extremely rude, because that's the thing. I don't hold anything in anymore. I say what I feel, I say what I want, but I do not know how to say it. So, for example, I come from a neighborhood where you can't be, you hurt my feelings, because, no, I grew up fighting and arguing and spitting in people's faces and doing whatever I had to do to show you hurt my feelings and I'm mad now. So I I still have that mindset, and it's hard for me to just, like, if my mom or my sister does something that's making me feel a certain way or triggering my depression, or my bipolar disorder, I don't know how to tell them, oh, I'm upset, like, you shouldn't do this to me, or you shouldn't, or not only that, I don't know how to understand the fact that not everyone's out to get me or hurt my feelings. Like, you say something and I'm automatically on the defense mode. But when I got pregnant, that did help. So, but since I've been pregnant, as soon as I got pregnant, I realized I don't want my son living in a world where people are like that, they don't understand their emotions. And I know, and I've read some places that mental illness can be hereditary, but I feel like it can also be taught. So if you're a parent that you have issues, you need to get that taken care of, because that's only going to lead your children to be the same way, and they can actually get the worst end of it. Um, so anyhow, what I was saying again. Yeah. So once I was pregnant and I had I was thinking about my son, I started to, during my pregnancy, HELL, no. Like, I was a little tornado, huge tornado. Like, and before, I never used to angry cry or be angry about things. I was just sad. I was just sad and couldn't express that I was sad, because I had to be a tough girl. So I was always nasty about it. But when I was pregnant, it was like his testosterone was in me and I was a tornado. That was extremely hard. And I wish that I had been in therapy the whole time I was pregnant. I would always say, I'm gonna go. But being pregnant, I just felt so lazy. But yeah, so up to right now, I'm a little bit better with venting about how someone made me feel and understanding that people have their own lives too. It's like it was so hard for me to understand that my mom has two children and she has to be there for my sister and my nieces because I wanted all her attention. I wanted to, my mother makes me feel safe. You know, she makes me feel put together, or if I don't feel put together, it's like she can say after my suicide attempt, because before that she was kind of hard on me too, because well, that's the only way she knew how. That's how she was raised, and that's where I go back to. If you're a type of person that needs help, you know, like I hear a lot of people say, or you know, through social media comment and talk about how, oh, the generation we're raising now are, they're wusses and they're this and they're so soft. And okay, that might be the case, but for them, because that's how growing up, yeah, it's true. Like the kids nowadays is like, oh my god, your feelings get so hurt. No, it's just that now it's made more comfortable to actually vocalize the fact that you're feeling hurt and you're in pain, or you didn't like the way I feel, and right away it's therapy. Of course, that is how it should be. That's how it should have been, because had it been that way for my mom, I would be happy, you know. It's crazy how people don't understand how you can, excuse me, thank you, sir. It's crazy how people don't understand how you can be in a relationship, have a baby, and you're still sad. Well, that's how it is for me. Like, I was doing so well the first and second month of my baby's life, and then after that, I don't want to say it's postpartum. I haven't gone to therapy, so I don't really know, but I started to feel out of it. Like, I started all my anxiety. I was switching from mood to mood. I have manic depression. All of that just felt overwhelming, and I kept pushing it to the side and pushing it to the side, pushing it to the side. And the only way I honestly felt better was staying home, because I have a final destination ring too. That's another thing. Like, we could be hanging out anywhere, and I think something bad is always gonna happen. Always gonna happen. And that's not to say that bad things always happen to me, but it just, that's how I feel, and that's how I get. So the point of this first video is not to tell you how I attempted suicide or exactly what led up to that. It's more to tell you how important therapy is, and how if I was not in therapy, things would have happened a lot sooner. In the next few videos, I will discuss that, but it is still kind of hard. Like, I talk about it all the time on my social medias, how I'm, you know, I have mental health issues, and that I did try to commit suicide, but I've never expressed how that makes me feel now, and what led up to that, because it's hard, and you know, that's putting also my family's business out there. The same way when someone goes to jail, the whole family's in jail. That's the same way when someone is mentally ill, the family is completely affected by it. So my boyfriend gets the worst of it. Like, he really does. Like, that's why he's a strong man and he's a champ, because you cannot deal with me. You cannot deal with me. It's not easy to deal with me at all. At all. It's not. It's not. And so it's up to me to keep that under control, because it's not fair to the people that are around me, especially my son. Like, I want my son to grow up in a world where he has a friend, and his friend's telling him, yeah, my mom's really sick, dude, and blah, blah, blah. And my son doesn't know what that is until I tell him that. It's like I want to get it so under control, but it's not easy. It's extremely hard, because no matter how happy I want to be, I can't force it. I can't make it happen. But there are times where I have great days. So the point of this video is, if you know a young kid that needs to be in therapy or show sign, it just takes one time to go and get an evaluation. You know, And it has to be a good therapist. Sometimes the first therapy session or the first therapist is not the one for you. I actually know off top, as soon as I walk into a therapist's room, if that's going to be my therapist or if we can make it work. Because there are some therapists that will actually belittle you and tell you like, oh yeah, well you just feel like that because it's like that really happens, and like the side of me that I dislike starts to come out, and I think that'll be the worst case scenario, like to flip out in a therapist's office, like especially now that I have a kid. I can't do those. I cannot do those things. So, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. Share this video because you never know who needs to hear that therapy is fine. It's good for you. And this is just the part 1 of probably part 5 of my how I became a suicide survivor. So, again, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, share.